wins.
Right.
The wins, I mean. Like, where are the wins? Here he's played 7 games so far and not gotten a single win. Can he do it now?
But the thing about these young players, new generation, so good at defending, and I think the key was Navarra, he never counted himself out. Everybody else counted himself out. He's like, I'm used to having terrible positions. And that kept his tactical alert high. Chances are low that he would get a chance to execute it, but he did. And here we are in round 8, the penultimate round of the rapid portion. Garry has switched back to D4 against Liemle.
That's a big point you made too, Jen. That is something that has changed. You've said that many times, Yaz. This generation is a generation of defenders, computer-esque defenders. Back in the day, people would collapse a lot easier. Now they're putting up all these lines. The computers play. They're children of the computer generation, and they defend and defend and defend and always feel like there's a chance.
Exactly. That resourcefulness is really what separates the modern day players from, let us say, players of my generation, where the expectation was that you come with a big novelty, you knock your opponent completely out. And David Navarra, despite the fact that he was totally busted in that game, he never gave up. He kept fighting till the very end, and he was rewarded for his pugnacious tenacity.
That's right, and that's a lesson to the kids, especially watching at home. If Garry Kasparov can collapse in a position like that, you should never get depressed about how bad your position is. You know, it's done. What's done is done, and keep fighting.
Wise words indeed. We can't always be true to them, but absolutely, and that was very, very impressive. Masterclass by Garry, but a master finish by David Navarra. Just a beautiful combination to give up his queen at the very end and win that game. Now, in the game between Garry and Liam, the players have actually moved very quickly to a position that Garry knows inside and out. This Nimzo Indian with Queen C2 harkens back to his 1993 World Championship match against Nigel Short, where Garry used the Nimzo, Queen C2 classical Nimzo, I mean, to great effect, a match that he won. And now that you had mentioned it, Maurice, there has been those streaks in Garry's career where he's been unable to find that winning form that, when he does find it, is so devastating. Theory being played in this game, let's continue. Let's look at the other matches. I mean, in the game between Levon, and he's played G7, G5, weakening the pawn shield for his king, but he did it for a very concrete reason. He's posted his knight nicely in the center of the board with a double attack against both the queen on c3 as well as the pawn on c5. Black is seeking to recover his pawn with the move knight takes c5, maybe trying to take advantage of the b3 square. This is extremely double-edged, but over to you, Maurice.
Well, in the key game of the round of Honoronian against...
But after we're looking at his games, I mean, it's really impressive, especially with the white pieces.
He's
been really dazzling.
Yes, he has impressed very, very, very much so. Up against the great challenge right now, Garry Kasparov. We'll see if Garry can recover from this extraordinary setback that he suffered in the opening round today.
You can't hate any of those picks.
No.
I mean...
Except Levon. Levon probably hates us. To sit here again, as we've seen previously in the St. Louis Rapids and Blitz, he's got less than half the time of his opponent Liemle, and
in a position he actually knows very well. He studied these positions 20 years ago, longer than 20 years ago, and he knows them very well. So he must be just trying to recall all of his files, all of his ideas that he had when he gets into these positions.
But this is not a good sign. I know guys, you are a Queen C2 Nimzo aficionado, so if you take the clock out of the equation, do you prefer playing the white or the black?
I much prefer playing the white, just because I love it when my opponent's king position has been compromised. Now, it doesn't mean I can get at my king or my opponent's position. H2, H4 could run into a knight takes G3, and I've got issues of my own with my pawn structure. But I just like the idea that there's not just weaknesses on the king side, but I like playing against the isolated queen pawn. It's just a stylistic thing. I'll take bishop e2 as an approach and just get on with it.
And after rook c8, where do you put your
Castle.
queen? Oh, okay.
I'll
So
just
there's
wait.
just no good discos for the moment.
For the moment. All right, over to you.
Doing right now, and that is thinking for too long as his clock ticks down mercilessly. He is under 2 minutes in this position. This is something he could handle. Look at g5 and king g7 on the board. It looks like Liam Lee's decided to play some enterprising chess right at the point when Garry least needs it. He wants to see some simple moves, and he's got problems to solve after this move g5, and he feels the pressure as you look at the difference in the body languages. Liam is just absolutely still.
Yeah.
And then he's going to throw out some shot if he can to keep it complicated, and Gary's going to have to keep finding moves.
With only the delay to help him along, because he's, as you said, he's burned so much clock.
He's got 125 left.
How do you do it? How do you keep this interesting? How do you try to create threats, Yasser? Try to find the right moment to play rook e4?
Well, in such positions, I'm not saying black should be embarrassed. Embarrassed.
Oh, we were looking at it.
Ambitious. I'm not saying that black should be ambitious. But if you wanted to play for all-out victory, it would really be based upon playing g5, g4, h7, h5, h4, because you could force open the h file. I'm not saying that's a good idea.
That could backfire.
Absolutely backfire big time. What I would probably do as black myself is I would put my pawn on b6 and follow it up with rook c4.
And the game between Karyakin and Nepomniachtchi was a draw, so plenty of players now have the opportunity to surpass Aronian and Nepo as the Levon game, not surpass, but equal them. That Levon game looked headed to a draw as well.
Well, this was
He's fine now. He's out of the woods, though his D pawn looks like it's under heavy pressure. Only two things can attack it, and he's defended it with his two, the rook and the queen. Nothing else to put pressure there. He's got the superior minor piece for the structure. His king is safe. The rook just dropped back, taken away. Matter of fact, if Kasparov had some time on the clock, he might start wondering, could I put together a little something in this position, go after that D pawn, create some trouble for my opponent? But even that would be slim. But right now, it's all about the clock, and he needs to make some quick moves as he is now down under a minute. 43 seconds left. Just bring the bishop back or move the rook. He's moved the rook back to where it was. A tacit offer of a draw. If rook to e4, he could go back to rook to d1 and hope that his opponent repeats. But if you're down under a minute with no danger to black, black has everything on dark squares that he can put on dark squares, he should be looking to keep this game going.
Oh, to be ambitious, no question about it. Actually, one quick thought that I had is...
But they have repeated once, haven't they? What just happened? After rook c1, we saw...
Okay, so this is... a bishop a6 takes, rook e4, rook d1, rook e7, rook c1.
No, I don't think they repeated
that.
Okay.
Yeah, he hasn't played rook e4 yet. And he has rejected the repetition, and it looks like he played bishop g6, yes.
He's got 10 plus minutes on the clock. Who's going to repeat now?
Well, one thought that did come to my mind was this move bishop g4, which actually would provoke f3. Here, it just doesn't look like I have enough. Well, pardon me, I wouldn't want to do this as white. I do have this move rook f1, however. So if the bishop were to attack the rook on d1 from the h5 square, which is what Liam did.
And he's played for h5, the plan that you mentioned earlier.
Right. He's played bishop g6, correct?
No.
He played bishop g6 first.
Bishop g6.
And after f3, he played h5.
Right. Okay. So I was going to say...
Bishop b5 from Garry.
We see a draw in this game between Aronian. They're smiling in that game. Didn't look like it was going to go anywhere anyway.
Seemed like a well-played battle there by two of our favorites here at the St. Louis Rapids and Blitz.
As they keep their positions at the leaderboard.
That's
at the top of the leaderboard.
But Liam Lee can catch up with Levon if he wins this game, and catch up with Levon and Nepo. So a big game here for Liam Lee. Not only is he, of course, playing against the greatest, Garry Kasparov, but he also has a chance to be tight at the top as a wild card. Yeah, and Christian.
I'm sure is
thinking,
gloating, saying, "Yeah, that's my horse. That's the guy I picked."
Christian never wins at anything, so maybe he could be happy at this one.
Ooh, trash talking on set. I'm shocked.
Uh-oh, we're going to have some push-up battles.
He can bring it. Bring it.
Bring it. Okay, F2, F3, H6, H5. Is this just a fake out? A fake
Bishop b5 by Garry, by the way. He's also played bishop to b5 quite quickly. Of course, he's got to play the moves quickly, otherwise he's just going to lose on time. And now rook e6 from Liam Lee, trying to prevent a piece from coming into the c6 square.
All right. Well, if you're going to stop me from invading on the 6th, maybe I'll invade on the 7th.
26, 25, 24.
How much do you want to do here, Yaz, when your clock is ticking? How aggressive do you want to be? He's just played bishop to d7, attacking the rook. And the rook moves over to d6, bishop back to b5. Two quick moves. Didn't need to play that fast. He's got 10-second delay.
Rook d6, not e7.
Oh, pardon me. Rook d6 was played. And then...
And now h4 by Liam Lee, and the pressure on Garry with just 25 seconds left on his clock.
Liam knows that he has no danger to his king. He's starting to extend his position somewhat. He wants to see this capture happen and then play the move h3 to try to crack Garry's structure. g4 allowing an h3 if you want it right now. But
c5 is hanging, so that plays to Garry's advantage.
Well, not h3 takes, queen takes. He'll have queen g3 check to play. So that's real if he lets that happen. And now he's starting to think about the position. He could drop his bishop back to e2.
In that position, we also do have the defense of rook c3, so we're defending laterally the g3 square. But what were you saying here, Maurice? Instead of h3,
is it black? No, I'm just saying you could play h3, right?
Yeah, h3, rook e1. You take on g2. I'll recapture with the king. But after h3, rook e1, I'm threatening rook e5. You don't want me to post up on the e5 square.
But he's played rook e6. Bishop d7, he could now play rook back to e7. And where will you put that bishop? Because then h3 is coming back.
Right, so rook e6 has been played.
Yes,
bishop
back
to
e7 instantly.
Rook e7, bishop back to b5, h3.
He's played
rook
e6,
bishop b5.
First repetition of this one.
Okay, so...
He obviously doesn't want to play rook e7 for a reason. That bishop could actually hide on c8, but doesn't do anything if you play with the h3 move. Maybe h3 is decided just not that strong.
Right.
Yeah, but
that's the problem. He's probably kind of decided, okay, close it down.
But he's done it.
He's now decided to play
he's
the same
looking
line.
at that clock. That clock is the factor.
Clock is tantalizing. Look at the clock. Look where he is.
Okay, rook e1 is automatic.
King h2 played by Garry Kasparov.
Got all his time back, and
takes
now
on g2. King takes g2, all on the board.
Who benefited?
Black. Black benefited by that quick swap on the g2 square.
Fabio and Anand have drawn their game, but what now? How to try to make something of this position, Yaz? Are you going to try to get pieces on the h5, or are you going to try to figure out a way to play f5? What are you going to do?
I'm thinking that the rook on d6 sucks, and I'm going to go back to the e6 square.
There it goes. Bishop d7.
I'm going to play rook e7, and I'm going to maintain the rook this time on the e7 square. How am I going to break through? If I play queen f4, there'll be a trade, but I'm really hoping. Okay, let's play some moves. Rook e6, bishop d7.
Well, these are on the board.
Right. I was thinking bishop e7. Pardon me, rook e7, bishop back. I wanted to play the move queen f4, expecting that queens would be traded, and I'm desperate to play rook e3.
I just saw if rook e7, he's played a bishop back. Is he threatening white, threatening rook c6? Could he even have played it on the last move? Right here.
Yes, he could have played rook c6 here, right?
Right.
And the queen would you're forcing me to play the move that I'm going to play on the next turn, queen f4, nothing. Oh, I see. You're thinking about rook d6, keeping the bishop and maybe going after the pawn on d. That's an intriguing line.
I mean, he dropped the a pawn, but
What happened?
Gary.
Somebody just hung a
he
rook.
just hung his rook.
He hung his rook, and
Oh my God! He
actually
just hung his rook.
Oh, no.
A complete gift to Kasparov. Unreal.
What?
Garry finally got some luck. He finally got some luck. Playing for first place.
How did
he
this
just
happen?
hung his rook.
I don't know how
It looked
that's
like it looked
possible.
like almost a mouse slip, guys.